Hana Shop. Coach Jay Triano with us. Coach, thank you for the time. It is much appreciated as always. We love when you visit. Seeing that nothing was done at the deadline today, Coach, a question I had for you is how dangerous is it to mess with the chemistry at the deadline of a team that has gelled so well like this one?
Well, yeah, I think that's, it's always something that you worry about. Do you make a minor trade that might disrupt the vibe that everybody has for each other? Everybody kind of understands their role. Does somebody start looking over their shoulder? You have to deal with that as a coach. If something does happen, you have to be prepared for it. And you can't say that these guys don't sit around thinking that something might happen, that they may have a new teammate or they may be going elsewhere. It's just human nature at this time of year for guys to think like that. But we as coaches, we got to keep these guys focused and locked in. And, there's a sense of relief in a way that we didn't do anything so that we can continue working with our players. And we like what we have right now.
For whatever reason, Coach, you hear this more in baseball than you do other sports. But in baseball, often you hear at the trade deadline, a move gave a boost to a clubhouse and to a team, that it showed a faith that the organization showed in them that they can do something, and they felt the need to do something. Have you ever sensed that in a locker room one way or the other after a trade deadline with activity or inactivity, and how it affects the morale or the vibe of your team?
I think over the years, I've probably felt it a couple times going both ways, where guys were, lost confidence because maybe you brought somebody in as their replacement. They started looking over their shoulder, but also, we've done things where guys go, you know what, they like us. They like where we are. They feel confident in us. And, the one thing that, Coach Brown did right off the bat was he identified roles for everybody. And I think our guys understand their role right now. Obviously, sometimes the role changes and it's based on merit, whether they've been playing well. Coach has been completely honest with players. He won't play you if you're not playing well. He will play you if you're playing well. I just like the vibe of where we are as a group right now. And, to bring somebody in right now might have been, disruptive for some of our players. Trying to figure out personalities and what this guy likes or he doesn't like, or, I don't know. I'm we're starting to move a little bit. I like the direction we're going. I would hate to have taken a step back here.
Coach Jay Triano is with us. Coach, defensively, you guys haven't figured it all out just yet. Obviously, there were 3 quarters last night against the Rockets where Houston scored 30 points or more against you. I think some fans, and honestly me, and I don't want to speak for Ramie, but we were looking at this deadline of, hey, maybe they can get a guy or two who could help them defensively. How confident are you that you have the defensive solutions to the problems in that locker room right now?
Well, I think, we went through a 5-game segment. The last 4 games have not been great defensively. Prior to that, we went through a 5-game segment where we were 5th in the NBA. It's not like we can't do it. It's just a matter of locking in and getting it done. I think we have players who have to just, continually work at trying to keep your man in front of you. Houston is an interesting team because they have so many great athletes that can break you down and get to the rim. And, we felt that. We felt that. And we knew they were going to bounce back after we beat them and scored 140 points on them. So it is a little bit concerning. It's something that Coach Brown addresses every day. He talks about our defense. He convinces them. We drill it every day. I think that as we grow as a team, we're becoming more familiar with each other. It's just a matter of understanding that after the All-Star break, this is a different game. This is a different game. Teams are starting to either just play it out, or they're starting to get ready for the playoffs. And we're one of those teams that want to get ready for the playoffs. We know that we have to continually get better at that, at the defensive end for sure.
I've heard Coach Brown and other coaches, when that defensive player of the game chain is handed out, Coach, and you're reading off a guy's box score and defensive accomplishments, defensive rebounds is always brought up. I've never heard that brought up as a defensive statistic, but that, and especially, and we saw it last night in Houston, the way things have gone and the second chance points that opposing teams have had, that has to be a point of emphasis for this basketball team to make you a better defensive team by not even allowing them to have those second chance points.
Absolutely. And this is part of the evolution of the analytics game that is facing the NBA. Teams are putting a lot more value on crashing the boards. They're sending 2, 3 sometimes 4 guys to the glass, using their athleticism. Some of the analytical data states that, the old way of everybody get back on the shot, so you stop a team in transition. Well, they're weighing that second chance point versus what you give up in transition, and people are finding out that, you need to go to the glass. You need to do that. And, we're like I said, we're not super athletic as a team. When we play the athletic teams that throw it up there and try to beat you to go get it, that's when we're challenged, and that's where our technique has to be, spot on. We've got to get an elbow into the chest. We've got to deter guys from going in. And I've always said, you hit the guy first. 90% of the people in the NBA stop going. They go, okay, you checked me, that's it. And I just think it's a little detail things like that where we have to be better. And we have been a fairly decent defensive rebounding team, but we struggle with some of the length and what teams are trying to do now as far as create second chance opportunities.
Coach Jay Triano is with us on the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Last one about the trade deadline from me, Coach. How active, how much do you guys talk to each other on the staff and with the players when a day like this is happening? I mean, there was so much movement today. It was bananas. How much conversation is happening? Or are you more just focused on, hey, this is what we got to do, and this is that the focus is on us and not everything else?
Yeah, it's as coaches, we put a lot of faith in our front office, and it's what they do, for a profession, and they're going to make the calls. They're going to weigh everything. We're kind of peeking over our shoulders, but to be honest, we're trying to figure out our next couple games here because, we've got Dallas coming in here, and they've got a little bit of a different roster than they had 3 days ago when we started our prep for them. Then we're going to go to Phoenix, and they're going to have a different roster from what we started our prep for on them. We come back after the break, we got Portland. They've got a different roster. So, as coaches, our focus is on the next game, regardless of who our players are. So, yes, we'll look over our shoulder. We'll maybe answer a question if one of us has coached a guy that may be in discussion. But for the most part, we stick to our jobs, which is preparing for the next game. And, that's been a challenge over the last couple of days because of so much movement.
Last night, Malik Monk capped off a really, really strong road trip after he had gone through some struggles. It seems like that guy, nothing can really get him down or hold him down, though. Did you ever notice any change in Malik Monk through the struggles and before he got things back on track on this road trip?
The only thing, maybe this is from me having coached him in Charlotte a little bit as well, is that when Malik tries to do too much, that's sometimes when he gets in trouble. When he just keeps the game simple, that's when his abundance of skills show. And, we just keep telling him, you don't have to make the home run pass. You don't have to make crazy plays. Just be solid. Just be solid. You're good enough that way. And it was nice to see him build that back. But you're right. His confidence level, if I say something to him after he's missed like 8 or 9 shots, he'll go, I know. It's all good. I'm going to make the next 8 or 9. And he's that feeling about him where, he's going to, like, what was it, game 1 in Houston? We didn't know which team he was playing for. We thought he might have been playing for Houston for the first 3 quarters. Then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, he comes out and puts on a display that is just impeccable and wins the game for us. And we run away with it because of that. So, that is Malik. You're going to take, sometimes he's going to throw the ball into the crowd. Sometimes he's going to make a great play. But, we love the fact that he brings us a juice and an energy that a lot of people in the league don't bring to games.
I love it, Coach. Just the other day I was talking about my love-hate relationship watching Malik and how – and I brought that game up where in the fourth quarter, he's as fun as anybody when he's got it cooking and playing great. But then sometimes the up and down nature every once in a while can cause some heart palpitations if you're watching. I can't imagine being you guys on the sidelines. I want to ask you, we've talked to you, Coach, in the past about 10 threes every quarter, right? Going for 40 threes in a game. And you guys haven't been shooting as good as I'm sure as you wanted to recently. But I've noticed you guys have done a good job of adjusting and attacking the rim when those threes aren't falling. What's that say about your offense? And what does that mean? How much of a danger to the opposition are you showing, saying, hey, look, if you think it's, we can't make our threes, we're done, not so fast. We have different ways to attack you here.
Well, yeah, no, it's a good point. And so much of the NBA now is, game planning for teams that you're going to play against, whether you're going to play a team that's going to push out and take away the three and make you take mid-range shots or get to the rim. We've got two of the most dynamic players in the game that can play in that mid-range and get to the rim in Domas and Foxy. And I think we saw early in the year, people were really focused on them in the pick and roll, and it left Kevin Herter and Malik and Keegan open for threes. Every game is so different now because teams and their strategy, they're thinking either one thing. They're thinking we're going to take away the rim or we're going to take away the three. And I think that is part of our versatility and why we've had success at the offensive end is because we've got enough players that can do a little bit of both. Yes, I want 43s. And, the last two games against Houston were a perfect example. They were very concerned early. We got 43s up in game one and then in game two, we only got 23 up. Well, they had a film session and they decided to take away our threes. And, we struggled a little bit last night at times, but we were still able to score 130 points. And that was mostly mid-range, mostly shots that we would say that are analytically not the best shots, but it just shows our versatility. We've got a lot of guys that can slash, that can snap drive and get to the rim when the three-point shot isn't going. And you're right. We're trying to figure out why we're not as consistent as shooters at home or on the road as we are at home. Obviously, friendly rims at home. We practice here more. Whether it's rest, who knows? But we just shoot the ball. We seem to shoot the ball better at home, and on the road, we have to try to figure out ways to win.
You brought up that 43s, three-point attempts a game number on this show before, and Nick and I have talked about it, and I love that mentality and that approach. I think you almost have to put up a high volume of threes in today's game. And even when they weren't falling, Coach, I said, I'm okay with it because I don't see bad shots. I don't see them forcing up shots that they shouldn't be putting up from behind the three-point line. The recent cold streak in threes, has it been just a cold streak, or has it been maybe not taking some of the best shots or the best decisions from beyond the three-point line?
No, I think, we grade all the games as far as where we shoot the ball from and whether they're good shots. We obviously like catch and shoot threes more than we like threes off the bounce. What we're seeing, though, is teams are starting to maybe take away a Kevin Herter three and give a Domas Sabonis a three-point open shot. Maybe they're going to they're going to take away a Keegan Murray three and see if Davion Mitchell will shoot one. So we don't tell any of our guys not to shoot threes. We want catch and shoot threes. If it's an open shot, we think it's a good shot. If we start second guessing as to whether we're going to shoot it or whether a guy is going to shoot it, and we have this thing I kind of got on them one time about the no hesi rule. You can't hesitate. Let it go.
Yeah. Because
the guy from the weak side corner is thinking you're going to shoot it. He's already starting to think tracking a rebound, or maybe if he's above the break to get back in defensive transition. So hesitations, and I charted a couple games, and if you hesitate, you either take a worse shot or you end up turning the ball over. So the guys are so good defensively around the league now. You get an open shot, there can't be any hesitation. So we just let our guys let it fly. I think it's a fun way to play the game. I think they enjoy playing it that way, and they will make and create for each other when you do that.
Coach, great stuff. Always love catching up with you. Let's do it again soon.
Sounds good, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. There goes Coach Jay Triano. Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. I absolutely loved the answer about Malik Monk. It was as honest as you can get.
He said they didn't know who he was playing for.
They didn't know if he was playing for them or Houston in the first three quarters. It is, as I said, earlier in the week, it's a roller coaster watching Malik sometimes. When he's got it going, man, oh man.